Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. All major stock market indexes were down yesterday, and I think that was healthy because I think the markets were due for a little bit of a breather, considering the strong run up and how overbought the market was technically in the short term. So I think that was healthy. There were a few reasons why I think the markets took a little bit of a breather. The Fed minutes came out from the October Federal Reserve meeting, and although nothing was surprising in those minutes, there were Fed officials were saying that, hinting that they're likely to pause raising interest rates, but they didn't say anything about rate cuts soon, and the market was getting ahead of themselves a little bit because the market was starting to price in rate cuts as early as March of next year and May of next year. Rate cuts were starting to be priced in the markets. But maybe that's why the market took a little bit of a breather, is that it took away some of those lofty expectations. And then we had news that existing home sales dipped by about 4% month over month and about 15% year over year, while prices continued to rise. This is because housing inventories are still very low, pushing up prices, and then mortgage rates are still very high. Mortgage rates, although they're not at their peak of about 8%, they're about 7.4% and change. And that's making housing affordability very tough right now, especially for the millennial generation. And that's why I think that existing home sales are dipping because of that, because of the housing affordability crisis that's going on. And then we also had some news in crypto. Binance, the SEC and the DOJ charged Binance with, evading sanctions and mishandling money for about a $4 billion fine. And as a result, Binance's CEO, CZ, is stepping down because of those charges. Honestly, I think this is healthy for crypto. I think the SEC is really trying to regulate crypto. And, Binance didn't necessarily play by all the rules. And I think by the SEC's charges against Binance and CZ dropping out and removing himself from the company, I think paves the way for a cleaner crypto sector. And this is good for Coinbase, because Coinbase certainly plays by all the rules right now. And this is good for BlackRock. And this paves the way and this cleans up the industry so that BlackRock and Ethereum, BlackRock's and other ETF issuers, spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF products can be approved. So that's good news. We also got some good news on the geopolitical front. Israel and Hamas agreed to a temporary ceasefire and releasing of the hostages. That is actually good news because that shows that the Middle East war isn't escalating in terms of other countries being brought in. So hopefully those hostages on both sides get released, and that will calm some fears on the markets, at least on the geopolitical side. And then lastly, NVIDIA had their earnings report, and they smashed expectations. Their revenue more than tripled. Their data center revenue was great. Their fourth quarter guidance was still good in light of the China export restrictions. Their fourth quarter guidance probably would have even been better if those restrictions didn't happen. But at the end of the day, it's necessary for the U.S.'s intellectual property to not really give away our most sensitive and most advanced AI chips that NVIDIA is making to China. Initially, NVIDIA stock was down about 1% after the earnings call yesterday, and now NVIDIA is up slightly. And I think honestly, NVIDIA will continue its run a little bit into year end. Look, NVIDIA more than tripled so far this year, and I think NVIDIA is still due for a little bit of a consolidation to ultimately let some of the small caps in the stock market really get their momentum, because right now the Magnificent Seven stocks in the stock market really have had most of the momentum this year, and I think they'll carry the baton for the small cap stocks, especially a second, third, and fourth derivative plays in AI. But either way, NVIDIA's earnings report being so good is another catalyst for the market to continue its run.